Morning, everybody. Today we'll be discussing about the chapter Ionic Equilibrium. This is just a chapter at a glance so that it is a little bit useful for you to go with the solving of case and neat questions in a proper way. So without wasting any time, let us start with the discussion of this chapter. So ionic equilibrium, first we are talking about the electrolytes. Electrolytes are chemicals that break into ions, that is ionize, when they are dissolved in water. The positively charged ions are the cations, while the negatively charged ions are the anions. Substances are usually characterized as strong electrolytes, weak electrolytes, and non-electrolytes. Strong electrolytes. Strong electrolytes completely ionize in water. This means 100% of the dissolved chemical breaks into cations and anions. However, it does not mean the chemical completely dissolves in water. For example, some species are only slightly soluble in water yet are strong electrolytes. This means that not very much dissolves, but are all that does dissolve break into ions. An example is the strong base strontium hydroxide. It has a low solubility in water but dissociates completely into strontium and hydroxide ions. While a flask of sodium hydroxide in water would contain sodium and hydroxide ions in water, but not actually any of it. A flask of aqueous strontium hydroxide would contain strontium and hydroxide ions, strontium hydroxide and water. Examples: strong acids, strong bases, and salts are the examples of strong electrolytes. Weak electrolytes. Weak electrolytes partially ionize in water. Pretty much any dissociation into ions between 0% and 100% makes a chemical a weak electrolyte. But in practice, around 1 to 10% of a weak electrolyte breaks into ions. Examples are weak acids and weak bases are weak electrolytes. Most nitrogen containing molecules are weak electrolytes. Water is considered to be a weak electrolyte, but some sources because it's partially dissociated to H plus and OH minus ions. But a non-electrolyte by other sources because only a very small amount of water dissociated to ions, non-electrolytes. That means here what it is being told here is water in some context is told as a weak electrolyte, in some other as a non-electrolyte because its dissociation is very small. Apart from that, when we talk about non-electrolyte, a substance that does not ionize in water at all, it is called as non-electrolyte. Like most of the carbon-containing compounds, fats, sugars, alcohols, these do not dissociate into ions. They are said to be as non-electrolytes. Let us discuss the theories of acids and bases. The Arrhenius theory of acids and bases, what it says, acids are those substances which produce H plus ions when present in solution. Bases are those substances which produce hydroxide ions when present in solution. Bronsted-Lowry theory of acids and bases, what it say? Theory says that an acid is a proton donor and a base is a proton acceptor. Conjugate acid-base pair. A conjugate acid-base pair are nothing but a pair of substances that differ by a proton. They are usually said to be a conjugate acid-base pair. Here, for an example, if I say Ha is losing a proton, that means it is an acid. So A minus becomes its conjugate base. And if I say H2O is accepting a proton, this becomes a base. So H3O plus becomes a conjugate acid. So Ha and A minus are what? They are pair of conjugate acid base pair. H2O and H3O plus are a pair of conjugate acid base pair. H3O plus is called a hydronium ion, that is hydrated water molecule is called a hydronium ion. If acid is strong, its conjugate base will be weak. If an acid is weak, its conjugate base will be strong. So it's a vice versa thing which we have to keep it in our minds. The next thing what we are talking about here, amphoteric substances. A substance which can act either as an acid or a base is called an amphoteric. So you can see water. Water can accept a proton and get converted to hydronium ion. and water can donate a proton and get converted to hydroxide ion. So depending on in which is, if it is added to an acid, it will accept a proton. If it is added to a base, it will be donating a proton. So in this way, it is acting as a amphoteric substance. The Lewis theory of acids and bases, what it tells us, this theory extends well beyond the things you normally think of an acids and bases. This theory says that an acid is an electron pair acceptor and a base is an electron pair donor. So the best example for Lewis acid and the base is ammonia and a BF3 molecule. So ionic product of water. Ionic product of water is nothing but that is Kw, which is said to be as the product of molar concentration of hydronium ion as the hydroxide ion. That is H plus and OH minus. The product of H plus and OH minus gives you the ionic product of water. Ionic product of water, depending on the ionic product of water, we can decide or we can say depending on things as whether the solution is acidic, alkaline or neutral. If the H plus ion concentration is greater than OH, then it is acidic. If it is H plus is less than OH minus, then it is basic. If H plus is equal to OH minus, then it is neutral solution. Here the ionic product of water has different values depending on the temperatures. So we usually talk about at 298 Kelvin, that is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 14. But at different temperatures, the ionic product of water varies. The ionization constant of water. So ionization of water is expressed by the equilibrium constant, that is K equilibrium. At SGP, only 1 in every 10 to the power of 7 molecules of water is ionized at any instant. The equilibrium constant for the reversible ionization of water is, just we are taking the molar concentration divided by 55.5, so that is how we got 55.55, it is, that is dividing 1000 by 18 grams. So we get 55.55. So depending on that, we are getting this, and depending on that, when you multiply 55.55 into 1.8 into 10 to the power of minus 16, you get the value as 1 into 10 to the power of minus 14. That is the ionic product of water. Okay, so now pH scale here. On this scale, the values ranges from 0 to 14. Since pH is defined as negative logarithm of H plus and the hydrogen ion concentration of water is 10 to the power of minus 14, the pH of water is 7. That is neutral. All solutions having pH less than 7 are acidic, and those with pH greater than 7 are basic. As shown in the pH scale, pH decreases with increase of H plus ion. The lower the pH, higher is the H plus or acidity. Dissociation of weak electrolytes or weak acids and weak bases. So weak electrolytes, when we talk about, they are not completely ionizing, so we can calculate their equilibrium constant, that is the dissociation constant of an acid Ka and dissociation constant of a base as Kb. So here H plus is the acid and A minus is the uh, salt and Ha is the salt. So here we can take the things and we are able to calculate the things. Ostwald's dilution law, this helps in the calculation of degree of dissociation when we know the equilibrium constant. So alpha here is the degree of dissociation and Kc is the equilibrium constant for weak electrolytes, and this is applicable only for dilute solutions. So you can, by knowing the value of K, that is the dissociation constant here, we can calculate the value of alpha. So alpha is equal to root of Ka by C, or you can say alpha is inversely proportional to square root of C. And we can say that uh, Ka is equal to C alpha square. So that point we have to keep it in our minds. Hydrolysis of salts, you can see here sodium chloride is a salt. When it is hydrolyzed, it is giving you chloride ions and sodium ions, and they are surrounded by water molecules. This is called as hydrolysis here. So salt is compound formed by the neutralization reaction between an acid and a base. They generally ionize in water, furnishing cations and anions. The cations and anions formed during ionization of the salt either exist as hydrated ions in aqueous solutions or interact with water to regenerate the acids and bases. The process of interaction between cations or anions of salts um, and water is known as hydrolysis of salts. On the basis of hydrolysis, salts are divided into three categories: acidic salts, basic salts, and neutral salts. Salts of strong acid and strong base. Salts formed by the neutralization of strong acid and strong base are neutral in nature, as the bonds in the salt solution will not break apart. They generally get hydrated but do not hydrolyze. Therefore, such salts are generally known as neutral salts. So, salts formed with by we use the strong acid and the strong base. That is, for example, NaCl. They do not hydrolyze in water, but they get hydrated in water, but they do not get hydrolyzed. So, salts of strong acid with if there is a stronger anion or a stronger cation in a salt, then it does not get hydrolyzed. Salt of weak acid and strong base. Salts formed by the neutralization of weak acid and strong base are basic in nature. So acetic acid, sodium acetate giving you acetic ion and sodium ion. Acetate ion formed by undergoing hydrolysis to form acetic acid and OH minus. OH minus. So OH minus, as we know, acetic acid is a weak acid. It remains unionized in the solution. This results in increase in the concentration of OH minus ion, which makes the solution alkaline. pH of the solution is greater than 7. Okay, so salt of weak acid and strong base gives us what? An alkaline solution. Salts of strong acid and weak base. Salts formed by the neutralization of strong acid and weak base are acidic in nature. For example, NH4Cl. NH4Cl gives you Cl minus and NH4 plus. Ammonium ion form undergoes hydrolysis to form ammonium hydroxide and H plus ions. NH4 plus aqueous plus water giving you NH4OH aqueous plus H plus aqueous. As we know, ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. It remains unionized in the solution. This results in increase in the concentration of H plus ion, which makes the solution acidic. pH of the solution will become less than 7. Salt of weak acid and weak base. Salts formed by the neutralization of weak acid and weak base are acidic, basic, or neutral depending on the nature of acids and bases involved. For example, ammonium acetate. General mechanism for hydrolysis of ions formed by these salts are acetate giving you acetic acid and ammonium hydroxide. Degree of hydrolysis in such cases of is independent of concentration of solution and pH of the solution is given by 7 plus half of pKa minus pKa. Hence, we can say that the pH of the solution can be less than 7 or greater than 7 depending on the values of pKa and pKb. Here you can see the hydrolysis at a glance. So strong acid and weak, strong base and weak acid. So we can have the solution here when it is neutral, when it is a combination of strong acid and strong base, when it is basic, when it is a salt of weak acid and strong base, and when it is acidic, when it is a salt of strong acid and weak base. So you can calculate their degree of hydrolysis and their hydrolyzing constant and how to calculate their pH also. This is how we are supposed to calculate. And when we talk about weak acid and weak base, I have said you the solution is unpredictable. We cannot say whether it is acidic or basic. So here I have not written anything. So there is, we cannot say it is acidic or basic, but we can calculate it by using the formula. So buffer system. What is a buffer system actually? A buffer is defined as a solution or a reagent that resists a change in pH when the addition of either an acid or base to it. How is a buffer prepared? It is a mixture of weak acid or weak base with its salt, with a strong acid or base. It is if it is a weak acid, then it is a mixture of weak acid and its salt with a strong base is a buffer, acidic buffer. Weak acid and its salt with a strong acid is a basic buffer. And neutral buffer is a mixture of weak salt of weak acid and weak base, that is ammonium acetate. So that is how we talk about the buffer. Types of buffer: acidic buffer, basic buffer. Even then we are having one more category that is called as a neutral buffer. Acidic buffer, a weak acid and its salts with its conjugate base. a weak base and its salt with its conjugate acid, and a neutral buffer is a combination of weak acid and a weak base. The example for that is nothing but ammonium acetate. Buffer capacity, a measure of how well a solution resists the change in its pH, increases with increased concentration of the buffer, maximum when pH is equal to pKa. The greater the buffer capacity, the less the pH changes upon addition of an acid or base. Choose a buffer whose pKa is closest to the desired pH. pH should be within pKa plus or minus 1. How to calculate buffer capacity? Number of moles of OH or H plus added, that is acid or base added, 2 divided by the pH change into the volume of the buffer in liters. Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. This is the way in which we are calculating the pH or pOH of the buffer solution. So this has been given as pKa, pH is equal to pKa plus log of base concentration of base by acid, or pOH is equal to pKa plus log of acid by base. The common ion effect is the shift in the equilibrium caused by the addition of a compound having an ion in common with the dissolved substance. The presence of a common ion suppresses the ionization of a weak acid or a weak base. Consider a mixture of sodium acetate, that is a strong electrolyte, and acetic acid, a weak acid. So the common ion here is the acetate ions, and hence the degree of dissociation of acetic acid is suppressed. Solubility product. In general, solubility product, that is KSP, is a mathematical product of its dissolved ion concentrations raised to the power of their stoichiometric coefficients. This statement is called as solubility product principle. So here KSP can be written as the molar concentration of Mz plus raised to Y and X raised to. What is the difference between solubility product and ionic product? Solubility product and ionic product. When we talk about solubility product is a concentration of ions of electrolyte, each raised to the power of their coefficients in the balanced chemical equation in a saturated solution. Solubility product is taken in saturated solution. Ionic product, on the other hand, is taken in any concentration. It may be saturated, unsaturated, any concentration. That is what we are telling. Solubility product is applicable only for saturated, but here it is applicable to any concentration. At constant temperature, the value of KSP is constant. It is not going to change. Solubility product only changes when the temperature changes, but otherwise it remains constant. But the value of ionic product keeps on changing. Molar solubilities. Now, using the solubility product, you can even calculate the molar solubility. The solubility of that is nothing but the amount of the solute that will dissolve in a given amount of the solution, that is at a particular temperature. The molar solubility is the number of moles of the solute that will dissolve in a liter of the solution. The molarity of the dissolved solute in the saturated solute. For general, if I give an equation MnXm solid giving you Nm plus aqueous plus Mn minus aqueous, so I can calculate the solubility, molar solubility as N plus M root to KSP divided by N raised to N into M raised to M. Application of common ion effect and solubility product. Predicting precipitation of a salt on mixing the solution. The principle of solubility product and common ion effect are applied in the precipitation of soluble salts in pure state from their saturated solution. For the precipitation of NaCl, its saturated solution is prepared by dissolving a minimum quantity of water. Then HCl gases pass through this solution. Due to the presence of common chloride ions, the ionization of NaCl is suppressed. Thus, NaCl is precipitated. Thus, when HCl is passed, Cl ion increases. Thus, ionic product of Na plus and Cl minus exceeds the value of KSP. So, NaCl is precipitated. This is what we are discussing about the ionic equilibrium.